Ms. Jones absent. Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Pendleton?
Here.
Ann?
Hi.
Mr. Hayden? Ms. Sutter?
I am here.
And Chair Rob will go over just very quickly the agenda for today. We had a couple last minute things happen, and so Rob will walk through that very quickly.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Staff recommendation is approval for all the applications. Get that out of the way first.
The update from Macondo, we have not heard from the apartment complex that is behind the property since the application was revised. All the items that went on architectural review board on Monday were approved as presented. The short-term rental overlay, we have a slight modification to that text because we want to update the date that it would go, that the no more short-term rentals would be in effect from. In the text as it stands right now, it's June 1st, but we're going to modify that to today's public hearing date or whatever date the commission would like to make the motion for. Just to accommodate the couple other administrative approvals that we've had come in, administrative applications came in since June 1st. They're all people that have been operating since well before this date, but those applications came in and we don't want to exclude them inadvertently from operating. We don't have any updates to the text amendment for the development standards of the airport district. There's no updates for the pedestrian commercial overlay district, nor the signage district. We don't have any updates either for the industrial mixed-use overlay zoning district. Dorikin is going to be continued. We received a letter from the an email from the property owner saying that they would like to have the item continued until September to give them some time to talk to the tenant and figure out some of the issues that they're having with parking on the site, as well as some interactions between the tenants of the building. For 1229 Hillside Avenue, the applicant is working on coming into compliance with the pool barrier requirements of the state building code. It is a condition in the staff report to have a permit approved for that work and be in compliance with it at all times. But I'm just updating that they are working towards that.
Which one is it?
For Hillside? 1229 Hillside. And for 2410 Aspen Street, Mr. Pendleton, you asked during the mid-month meeting where the applicant is moving. They are moving to Virginia Beach. They'll still be within 20-minute response time, or their designated representative will be. For the new business, the James Barry Robinson Home for Boys Trust was approved as presented at ARB on Monday. And then we're initiating 2 text amendments from the presentations that we presented at the mid-month relating to data center use and the marijuana business compliances. Are there any questions?
I'm sorry, did you talk about the window treatments? Do we have examples of that?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Well, it'll be in the presentation that we'll provide upstairs.
Okay.
We have very specific
Yeah,
examples for that.
thank you for doing that.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, I would recommend, like we did in May, to move the continued item number 2, the short-term rental overlay, to the end after the new business items. We'll just get everybody out that needs to be heard, and then we'll leave the rest.
Any discussion?
I have one last thought. Obviously, the short-term rental overlay conversation is going to seize some and not these others. Would it be helpful for us to be able to make some statements that we commit to a reevaluation or to look at data at a set point in time so that we can have something definitive on the record? I don't know that it needs to be in the text, but at least publicly to say, in 6 months, we'll do an initial evaluation, look at whatever that is we're going to look at.
Are you proposing that happens before the testimony or the preamble?
I'm not proposing it. I'm just asking the question, does it make sense for us to be able to, should we be
I
able to?
appreciate you saying that.
Yeah,
I think that is really important. And I think it's important for us to codify a date instead of just saying we will look into it at a future date, whether it's 6 months, a year, whatever you all think appropriate. But, I think it makes it look,
Look like we're really
serious about it, yeah.
6 months might be too soon, and the season will just be,
The 6 months, math. I guess it will be coming out of winter, and so I'm not sure if we'll have the data that we need. I think a year makes more sense, because at least then we'll have, the summer. And I know I've made a personal commitment to look into it myself, and I even added something on my calendar next year to, take another look. I'm not sure if this, would it make sense to put that in the actual text
The
amendment?
planning commission can direct staff, we're staff to the planning commission, you can direct us to bring back information to you at a date certain. So I would recommend, since it would probably take a long conversation, at the October 27 retreat for us to bring the information back to you. That way we'll end of the season, we'll have all the data, we can compile the data.
What are we looking at? What are you gonna look at?
Well, I think what I was thinking about, especially now that we're talking about concerns with concentration, that we would find out from the community, the residents, what are they seeing, what are they experiencing, and then also looking at violations. I know that was something that, another commitment that we made, was to focus on different complaints that seem to be attributed to short-term rentals where maybe it did not actually belong. So I wanted to look at, again, all of the things that we've been talking about as data points, and then talking about it, next year. Go ahead.
I would recommend staff was still going to, before the end of the year, meet with the operators in the community to talk about short-term rental enforcement and transparency in the information. If you'd like to tell us to do that also. I don't want them to think that all of that's getting punted, because we were going to still do that in short order, but we would have to wait until after council acts on this. We don't want to muddy the waters between something going on with that and trying to put the two issues together, so.
I would say also, something maybe in the next quarter to look at is just the trend of illegal operators, or however you want to frame that. Just to see if we start seeing an uptick, because I think that could be an unintended consequence of this.
That's a concern I have too.
And
That's a good,
that we have shown, the data has shown that if there are issues, violations, it's typically that group, not the legal operators, so.
especially I believe that we are working on a plan to address enforcement of
The unauthorized short-term rentals, and I'd like to see. I'm hoping for a great outcome, and that's my expectation, but also hope isn't a plan. So we want to make sure that we check in on all of those, and also remain in relationship with both the short-term rental owner and also the residents of Willoughby.
If you'd like, I can, after the vote's taken, I can summarize what I will commit staff to do. That way you don't have to, I can repeat everything that you've requested of us, and I'll just put it on the record so that everyone can hear it. Is that okay? Or would you rather? Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Y'all have been working really, really hard on this, and I appreciate commissioners, planning department. It's been a long road and in a short period of time, and I just thank you for doing that.
And I guess for the summary after a year of operations, do we just only want to look at Willoughby, or do we want to look at short-term rentals across the board?
Both.
I think we could use this time as a data point to then measure what starts to uptick, because this could start driving more density in other areas that are not in this overlay as well, because of the fear that one may be coming. All these scenarios kind of pop into your head when people feel like there could be restrictions, I need to do it now. It's going to push folks to do that, whether it's appropriate or not appropriate.
Understood.
any other, go right ahead.
I guess some question from the council, but I know we got like limitations of what the penalties can be for violators. Has there been any changes to that, or is it still, we're capped at what the first penalty is? I think it's 3 tiers.
What was it that we decided? I don't know. I
It
don't
is
remember.
the, sorry. violations of a recurring nature have a limitation in the state code. We probably could, if that's a high priority of the city, we can request it to be looked at or added to the legislative agenda to increase. It was requested in the last two General Assembly sessions, and it didn't move very far in the General Assembly. But if that is, we'll bring it to the legislative group and then have council consider that for what they can.
Have you, other cities kind of push for?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Norfolk won't be the first one.
Yeah. There's I believe Virginia Beach pushed for it. There was a number of other ones that have, and it didn't grow any traction. So.
Who's the right entity to push it? I mean, is it our lawyers that are pushing it, or is it planning commission or lobbyists?
It's our lobbyists. I believe that's the best way. That would be if it becomes part of the council's legislative agenda, and then it can be lobbied moving forward.
I did know the answer to that one, no.
At least for me, I'm aware of more data now that I feel like it's even more imperative. So if that information can get handed to the right folks, because what we see as the potential degradation of the community are those that aren't operating within the right manner. And that makes everybody look bad. It makes the folks that are renting, the folks that are doing the right process. So I feel like that data is helpful. If that was part of their presentation.
Not sure. The hardest part, and Jeremy and the team can elaborate, is for those that we get compliance from the people we're able to cite. Right? The ones that we're not able to cite because they're an out-of-state owner and we can't serve them is where we're having the most difficulty. Or for the ones that game the system, which we're going to then, we're now going to try other tools that we weren't sure to utilize, but we just need to put the cards on the table and see what the court says at this point. And so we're going to do that. That's our next step, is to try to figure out how to get the ones that are gaming the system, where they list and pull and then, oh, I'm not in violation, no, but you got a booking. So we're going to try to figure out, we're going to utilize where we were uncomfortable just to see how court would rule on it, and then we'll figure it out from there. But the other ones are the ones that are out of state or the ones that we cannot serve, are the other ones that are giving us trouble too. So.
Public flogging after the third offense, I think, is what was on the.
I'm sure that's not constitutional.
It's in the record, I think. It's in the yeah. I had a question. Somebody reached out to me, and they said they're looking to buy a piece of property that is right now a current infringement. It is a property that was illegally being used as a Airbnb. And they want to use it as an Airbnb, and they want to know if they'll be penalized for the prior offense. And I said, I would, without a doubt, bring that to the city's attention, that you're buying a property that was already in violation, because it'll certainly affect your CP.
We have brought that to you, noting that the parcel has had issues, but we have also noted that it is a new property owner. So it's part of your ability to question, I don't say question, but ask them questions.
Then they'll be the ones that's accountable. It's not going with the property.
So the question is this property located in Willoughby or is it located outside?
I think it's outside.
Then if they're coming forward for a conditional use permit, we just put the facts on the table for the commission to determine what's the best outcome.
Makes sense. Okay.
In Willoughby, with the way the rules are written for the enforcement, where everything goes against the property. So if someone had illegally operated previously and it counts as a strike against them, it carries with the property for 2 years for them to track.
It's a public flogging.
So that's why I asked the question. There's a nuance to the enforcement for that based on how the rules are.
So out of Willoughby, it doesn't go with the property. It's per application. In Willoughby, it has a strike that's already on the record.
Count against it, yes.
Wow, that's cool. Good to know.
Thank you, that's very much. Any other questions? Discussion items? Alright,
Director Todd, any council actions?
Yes, council came back from their retreat, from their break, and approved the development standards changes that were brought forward by the commission, as well as the changes to meet the changes by the General Assembly for parking, manufactured homes and this, the cell towers, the temporary cell towers. They also heard a number of items for rezoning and conditional use permit on their consent agenda as well as the public hearing agenda. One of the short-term rentals that was a homestay that was continued was also approved. It was in the Norview area, I think it was in Cova. It was just a renewal, and so that one was able to get approved during this round. So we do have a number of short-term rentals that have not yet been scheduled due to concerns of operations and their location. But again, staff does not control the scheduling of the agenda, so there's a couple that are still lingering out there. So.
Thank you. Any questions about council actions? Any comments from the commissioners? All right, well, I think that's it, and we're adjourned until public hearing. Thank you.